Signature Required podcast, and we have Mr. Jason White today with us. Welcome.
Man, how you doing, y'all?
I'm good.
It's a long time coming.
Yes.
I'm supposed to have been here for real.
A long time ago.
Okay.
A long
Talk
time
to me
ago.
nice now. But I'm here now,
A
so
long
it's all
time
good.
ago. That's all that matters. Here at the right time.
Yeah.
This is the Signature Required podcast where we talk about entrepreneurship, your purpose, and everything in between. Today we'll be talking about the federal code and getting money, being the middleman.
Let go.
Yes, I'm just so excited.
We peoples for real, so this gonna be a regular conversation.
For
we peoples
sure.
for real.
Sure. I've been just so excited to have you on the podcast,
thank you
and
for
I'm
having
so
me, real.
thankful that you even took the call to say that you.
Oh my God, stop it, yo.
I just want to say thank you and give you your flowers
I appreciate
now.
it.
So I really appreciate it. But let's hop into it.
Yeah.
So tell the people who you are, give them a little bit of background of your story,
Yeah.
and what is the federal code?
Oh man, J White, first name, last name. Talk to me.
Yes.
I'm just a dude from Virginia, you know what I'm saying? Norfolk, Virginia to be exact. I got my PhD. I got my public high school diploma.
All right.
Understand that?
All right.
And I just figured out a common sense way to make money through government contracting, where I get the contracts and I subcontract them right out. We don't touch the work, we don't see the work, we don't see the workers, we don't see what the work is being done at.
Wow.
And that's what the federal code is based around. It's basically like my academy where I teach people and businesses this strategy that I didn't invent. I just got nice at it because I understand common sense. That's why I talk about my PhD, my public high school diploma.
I like it.
It's
I
simple.
like it.
Yeah.
I like it. Well, let's get into you from Virginia.
2 up, 2 down.
Yeah. And like you said, you teach people, you have a course, and you teach people how to get government contracts. So how did you get involved in government contracting?
Oh man, so it's a gas station that used to be around the corner from my mama's house.
Okay.
So I was in the military. I was in the U.S. Coast Guard.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was in the Coast Guard for 10 years.
Really?
The boy couldn't swim. Check this out. Check me out. I couldn't swim,
Okay.
but I joined the U.S. Coast Guard. Yeah.
How?
Listen, I'm just a smart dude, number one. I'm
Okay.
super smart. So you had to have a high ASVAB score to get into the Coast Guard.
Wow.
So I got in the Coast Guard, boom, I could pick any job that I wanted to do.
Okay.
My dumb tail, yo, I wanted to be like, it's like military police.
Oh.
But you still got to learn how to swim in boot camp. So I told him, I was like, yo, I don't know how to swim. Like, I don't know what y'all want me to do.
Yeah.
Put me through remedial swim. Anyway, I can swim now, though. I'm
Okay.
dope now. But, so 10 years in the Coast Guard, but I got in trouble because I was still a knucklehead. So I did 2 years in the brig. So
Okay.
that's military jail. That's like federal prison.
What was you doing? First of all.
Listen,
What?
Brittany, you know I call you the realest in Arizona.
You listen.
I'm the realest overall too.
I already
So you're not gonna talk to me crazy. Like, and most people that's in the military, they get these, they get this power.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, yo, you was a clown.
Right.
You been a clown. Just because you got power, you still a clown.
Right.
It's like a corny dude with money is still a what? A corny dude. You feel me? So now you think you're gonna talk to me crazy because you got ranking over me?
Right.
Man, please. I was in there thumping, fighting.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, acting crazy.
Okay.
Now, I don't condone it.
Yeah.
But I just condone standing up for myself.
Yeah,
And at the moment, standing up for myself means punch you in the face.
Okay.
Obviously, I don't need to do all that no more.
Right.
But I did a little bit worse than that. That's how I got 2 years.
Oh,
But anyway,
okay.
yeah.
Okay.
All right, so
Okay.
I did that. Came home, couldn't really get a job for real.
So that followed you.
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay.
I still got an honorable discharge, so I didn't get a dishonorable.
Oh, well, that's good.
Yeah, because while I was in the brig, I just did right.
Yes.
All right, I'm scared straight. I got y'all.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
I don't want to come back here no more. I understand.
Right.
So I just couldn't find a real job for real, so I got a job at the gas station.
Okay.
And my homeboy, while I was working at the gas station, told me about federal government contracts. Same night, he got locked up. So he told me, he said, yo, I'm about to go get contracts with my truck on the federal level.
Okay.
I said, well, what's that? I don't know what federal contracts are.
Right.
He said, hit me when you get off. I did. He was locked up. Yeah, so I had to go down the rabbit hole myself and teach myself.
And that's how you got involved.
Britt, this 2008. So you know 2008 how whack YouTube was?
Yeah.
You couldn't really figure out nothing?
Yeah.
It was a struggle.
Wow.
Yeah, it was
but like you said, just my guy. So
for sure, I'm gonna figure it
you
out.
figured it out.
100%, yeah.
Wow. So you've been in government contracts since 2008.
Yeah. I know I look young, you hear me? Like,
You do.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not a little young, but black don't crack and I drink water. But yeah, I started in 2008, you know what I'm saying?
Wow.
And I didn't win my first contract until 2011 though.
Okay.
You know how the iceberg look, right? All you can see is the tip.
Yeah.
But you can't see that, all that
At
work
the bottom.
underneath the water.
Yes.
I put in a lot of work, you know what I'm saying? Like I had self-doubts, I had woe is me. I only got a high school diploma. I did it. I went to college for maybe like one semester. The other semester, I was just in the building.
Right.
Working on my networking skills.
Right.
My networking skills.
Right.
But, you know, I put in a lot of work, so I had a lot of self-doubt.
Yeah.
And I just was like, yo, because I don't like to read. I still don't read books to this day. I ain't that dude.
Right.
I just like to see it and hear it, and then I'm good. I'm going to activate myself. But I had to read these contracts. I had to read this paperwork. I had to read this documentation. So then I had to shift my mindset. So I was doing personal development before I knew about personal development.
Wow.
I was like, yo, I gotta change my ways. Like
Yeah.
I can't talk slang to these people on the phone. I can't say, yo, what's up? How you doing? Let me get nah. I had to create a different vernacular for myself so they know I was a person with purpose over the phone and just not somebody just talking trash with no real business on the line. So
what was that pivotal moment for you when you figured out like you couldn't, you had to talk business?
I had a lot of them, but I think one of the biggest ones was, so I started government contracting. My man that went to jail, his mama came up to the gas station and was like, yo, you ain't been visiting my son. It's cool, but he told me to tell you what you doing. Get yourself together, yada, yada. Yeah, so that moment right there was like, damn, for real? Like, you right, I ain't went to see my man. I'm making this, then as I'm talking to her, I'm just making excuses. You right, I haven't. I ain't had the money, I ain't had the time. I ain't got nothing but time. I'm working 20 hours a week. After that, I'm just chilling in the crib. You know what I'm saying? So that moment was like, all right, let me get myself together. I was riding a pedal bike. See, people don't understand, yo.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
The
boy had a pedal bike going from my mama house to the gas station, but then from the gas station, I had to take that pedal bike to the library because I didn't have a computer.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, right? We just talked about that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Off the camera, right? But people don't understand the work that goes into building an empire,
Correct.
right?
Correct.
And just your first stages of the process. And so, like you said, talking about a pedal bike and going back and forth and going to the library. It's so funny because when I moved to Las Vegas, I had cable.
Oh,
and this is fresh out of a...
You know how glorious it sounds to say you live in Las Vegas? It sounds glorious.
On Section 8.
Wow.
Listen, I literally started over after my divorce.
Okay.
So when I got there, it was like, but I had so much peace because it was just like a fresh start.
For sure, yeah.
But I didn't have cable. I was sleeping on my floor.
Oh, wow.
Until I was able to save up enough money to go buy some furniture from a freaking yard sale.
I can't even see you sleeping on nobody's floor.
Listen, a pallet. You hear me?
Oh my God.
And so hearing, the beginnings of how it started, people just see the end result and they don't understand, I've been doing this for a long time to try to figure it out. You know what I'm saying? So
I think it's cool that you can be giving your flowers for what you've been through, right? But I think on the same token, people have to understand that you've been through, right? So when somebody dies from 1900 to 1999, it's that dash that we need to talk about, not the start and the finish. We got to get into that dash and what happened through that part. That was life, whatever it is, all the ups and downs and all that. So that's what I like to harp on and talk about. So if you come learn from me, or I'm teaching you, or I'm coaching you, or whatever, cool. The goal is to win federal government contracts. I got it.
Right.
But when you come over here and fool with me, I'm going to harp on the process because you need to learn what that looks like. Mind, body, and soul, because it's going to test you. It's going to test you with your relationships. It's going to test you internally. And it's going to test the new relationships that you're going to build based off of what you're getting into. It's going to test you, and mentally people got to be prepared. I was a street dude, so it wasn't a lot of things that I couldn't handle. But now when I'm turning myself into a professional, I was like, all right, I gotta tighten up. So when my mom came to the gas station, I was like, all right, come on, Jim. You can do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just get to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how long did it take you to win your first contract?
3 years, yo.
Really?
Yeah. And these people out here can't even work 2 weeks without. If you ain't working 9 to 5 and they don't get paid in 2 weeks, they going ballistic. They going nuts. Yes, I'm still working at the gas station, but I'm putting all my eggs in one basket for 3 years. Now, I told you I had that woe is me moment, and that woe is me moment was 12 months. I was like, man, F this stuff, I ain't gonna do it, I'm straight. So I really chilled for 12 months. I was in and out, like, I kind of knew what I was doing, but I was getting frustrated.
Right.
But when I finally won, it was over.
Wow.
Yeah, it was over.
And that one contract just took you on to the next thing.
For sure, because I cracked the code, I figured it out. You know what I mean? When you're working on something so long and now you got through, you broke that barrier. It's like you cracked the seal. Now you understand what that process looks like through and through, right? Not just to do it, but to be awarded your contract too. So my first one was for $125 profit a month.
Wow.
So most gurus be like, "That ain't no money. You can't get financial freedom." I don't care about none of that. I'm hyped.
Yeah.
Took Mom Dukes with sizzling and everything. I'm that old. You know what I'm saying? It was a sizzler slash Shoney's in the same joint.
Yeah.
So we eating good when I got that.
I love it.
Mama ain't care, man. She like, yo, I'm happy, I'm proud of you, yada yada. But 2 months later, I won another contract, $7,000 a month profit.
Wow.
I ain't at the gas station no more.
Right.
Chunk the deuces to him, peace out. You know what I mean? Get my gas for free, yo. And get my lemon heads too, you know what I'm saying?
Right. Let's talk about government contracts and grants through the government.
Yeah.
Can you kind of explain what the difference is between a government contract and like a grant?
See, I knew you was gonna ask some dope questions, yo. So the grants are for nonprofit organizations and entities, right? So the federal government is compelled and obligated by law to set aside its trillions and billions of dollars for nonprofits to be awarded grants. Grants you don't have to pay back, but there are stipulations to apply for those grants.
Right.
Federal government contracts are contracts that the government will award a for-profit company for profit based off a product or a solicitation that the federal government needs to procure from a small business. Most people say, well, if they got all that money, why don't they do it themselves? Because just like the grants are regulated to provide money, or the federal government is regulated to give the small businesses and nonprofits grants, they're obligated to do that for federal government contracts too.
Okay.
So they obligated to give small businesses an opportunity to do a work or provide a product for them.
So is it as, I wouldn't say strenuous, but as I would say regulated, because a grant is a lot more regulated, right? So there's this 70-30 rule. 70% goes towards services, 30% goes towards administration.
How many, you got nonprofits, right? How many you got?
One. Okay.
So yes, it's not.
Okay.
It's not as tight. It's not as strenuous. Now,
Okay.
this is why I only did on the federal level with government contracts, and I don't do state or local. You can get money with state and local, of course, but I don't deal with that because when I started in 2008, I didn't know business. I didn't know. I had to actually Google how to get an LLC.
Okay.
So once I saw how easy it was to start doing government contracts on the federal level, I just stayed there because there's no red tape. Yeah.
Smart.
Yep.
Okay. I kind of want to go back just a little
Let's
bit.
go.
Because I seen you on another podcast and
Okay.
someone asked about being a felon and being able to get a government contract.
Right.
But then I also seen your answer. So I want you to just kind of touch on that, how the government does business to business.
Yep. So because the federal government does not do business with somebody personally as an individual, and they do B2B, business to business, that felon or that person with that sketchy past, it doesn't matter. As long as their business, their LLC, their S Corp, whatever they have, is in with good standings of that state. And then they register that entity into SAM.gov and they good to go. Now, the caveat to that, or more detail to that, if that person with that sketchy past wins contracts, because they can through their company, but now that person wants to go onto the base themselves to look at the work, they won't be allowed to do that because when you get to the base, they do a soft background check, and you're gonna get flagged. So you can't go in to see the work being done. That's why it's so attractive for people with sketchy passes, because you don't have to see it anyway. Most people think that checking up on your contractors is the thing to do. Let them people work.
Yeah.
Don't be micromanaging them.
No.
They know what they're doing.
Right.
If they tearing your stuff up in the federal government space, you gonna know about it.
Oh.
You don't gotta check up on them. They gonna call you.
Okay.
Hey, your people's out here tearing our stuff up.
Oh.
What's up? What you gonna do?
Okay.
So you don't gotta go check on nobody. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Plus we're at the federal level. So it's a federal facility in all 50 states. So we in Arizona, but we went in contracts in Georgia, New York, Florida. We're not flying out there checking on them people. You know what I'm saying? So that's the only caveat. You can win federal government contracts as a felon, ex-con, scammer, whatever you were. Because scammers be scamming.
Yes,
right? Whatever you were, you can win federal government contracts. You just can't go visit the facilities.
Oh, wow. And I think that just to shed light, right? Because a lot of people, or some people get out of prison and they just kind of feel like, woe is me, or,
Sure.
you know, and the unfortunate thing is there aren't enough resources,
Correct,
right? For
yeah.
people to just get acclimated back into society
Yeah.
and to be in a space where they're actually able to be successful,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Because
yeah.
you kind of have all these different things against you.
You got the
And-
stigma, you got the black
Yeah.
cloud right over your head.
Right,
You know what I mean?
right. And so knowing that you can win a government contract is really just about applying yourself,
Yeah.
right? And learning how to become the middleman.
That's it. Or
Right.
woman.
Or woman.
You feel me? You know what
Middleman
I'm saying?
or woman.
That's it.
Yeah.
But let
Yeah.
me break this right here, y'all. Signature Required Podcast, yo. You ready for this?
I'm ready.
All right, peep game. So
game.
I'm actually creating a curriculum right now for ex-cons and felons and people that are still incarcerated to learn federal government contracting. So 6 weeks prior to you being released, you can start my program. And then, you know, when you go to the halfway house and you got to get a job, your job is to complete my course. So we creating that curriculum being paid for by the federal government.
What we doing?
Talk to me nice,
Love
yo.
it, yeah.
So it ain't. So for me, it's bigger than
Wow.
just helping out total small businesses and people that's out here that can't figure it out.
Absolutely.
Them people behind bars, they good people.
Yeah.
If 80% of them were doing something to get money
Right.
for whatever the reason, right?
Right.
They just was getting it the wrong way. They
Right.
not bad people.
No.
So I'm gonna hook them up with a way that they can still use their common sense, because
Yeah.
the street life and business life is very parallel.
Yeah.
They can get it in. I'm gonna just teach them through my curriculum.
I love it.
Yeah, yeah.
That's dope. That's
Beep, beep,
dope.
beep. That's it.
Yeah, that's the sound we need to insert into it. Right there. That's
Yeah,
sound right
yeah,
there.
yeah.
I seen I was on a Zoom with Tony the Closer
Okay.
for real estate.
Yeah.
And his dad, his pops, he had his pops on there. And there were two guys, they were incarcerated somewhere and they had their phone or whatever set up.
Yeah, yeah.
And I just thought that, you know, that's so dope that they in there, and good thing that they're having a mind shift,
Yeah,
right? That
yeah.
moment to prepare themselves when they come out to have a backup plan,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
And real estate is one of those places that you can do that.
Absolutely.
And so what you doing, I got some people for you when
Yeah.
you just, you know, that
Yeah.
to connect the dot that I think that you would do really well. So I'm excited
Yeah.
for you. Congratulations, that's dope.
I ain't never said that
Ooh,
nowhere,
yeah,
yo. You
yeah,
feel me?
Yeah, that's huge.
That's gonna
It's
be
huge.
dope. That's gonna be dope. And one of the things that sparked it is similar to what you just mentioned. Like, I have Zoom calls every Wednesday night.
Right.
But when I look in the, you know, in the pictures, I see them on their Zoom, in their cell with the phone propped up. Like, yo, my man's is locked up.
Right.
It's dope that they got the phone in there. Don't get in no more trouble.
Right,
But
right.
they, like you said, they expanding their mind right now, and they not
Absolutely.
waiting.
No.
You know what I mean? A lot of people out here, they just waiting. What you waiting for? They ain't gonna fall in your lap. homie.
Absolutely
You
not.
gotta get to it. And if somebody inside is getting to it, well, then what's your excuse?
You don't have any.
Exactly.
You don't have any.
Exactly.
And because our stories, right? I don't have a lot of pity. I have mercy. I don't have a lot of pity
Yeah.
on individuals when it's woe is me.
Yeah.
Because I left with nothing.
Yeah.
Slept on the floor. When my transmission went out, I didn't call home, hey, can y'all give me some money?
Yeah.
I walked and got groceries. I figured out how to get back and forth to work.
Yeah.
So when somebody just don't want to do
Yeah.
nothing for themselves,
they just don't want it.
they just don't want it.
Yeah.
I don't know what the excuse is. So when you got individuals like yourself giving free game.
Come on now. Come on.
I don't understand why you're not taking advantage of it. So, how often do you do your workshops?
Yo, they be random.
Really?
Like people don't, Somebody else asked me this recently too.
Okay.
They be random. I literally would wake up and be like, all right, I'm gonna bust out a workshop in Arizona.
Wow.
I'm gonna bust out a workshop in such and such, Chicago, or whatever the case, right?
Right.
And then my team get it together and then we just do it. I do strategically plan out my years.
Mm-hmm.
So like we're doing 2023 now, or we basically did it last month, right?
Okay.
So we got it all planned out. I know the number of workshops I'm gonna do.
Okay.
I just don't know where. When or where.
Okay.
I just be like, all right, let's do one now. Let's bust it out. Because
Okay.
workshops are live, and I think that's a dope piece to get training live.
Uh-huh.
But at the same time, it's almost like it's a one day. You
Right.
can't learn it all in one day,
Right.
and people don't take. Unfortunately, people note taking isn't as good,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
So they gotta come back and come back and come back. I'm just like, all right, I do the live workshops for real, for people that already have the course, and now I can expand on what the
Okay.
course is talking about.
Right.
The people that don't have the course, of course, they can get into the live workshops,
Right.
get the lessons that I'm teaching right then and there. And if you're good enough, smart enough, and picking up what I'm putting down, you good, you straight.
Right.
You can get it in. But the live workshops are super random, yo.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
I'm gonna do 6 next year. I'm gonna do 6. I already
Okay.
know the
Which
number.
I'm glad you talked about your courses.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that, because if someone has a business and they're interested in getting a government contract,
Yeah.
talk about your course and kind of overview of what you go over and what they will get from that.
So the course came out last March, so it's about to be 2 years. Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Man, it's about to be 2 years, and within this time frame, my students have won over $16.7 million in federal government contracts.
Wow.
I got a 98% completion rate for a digital course, yo.
Wow.
That's crazy.
huge.
Come on now, most
Yeah.
people don't finish nothing.
Absolutely.
But
not.
the way we made it, it's like it's action items after each module. So
Okay.
it's not like you go through it. You're not supposed to just go through it, listen. You're supposed to stop, get to work. Okay, I completed this module, let me get to work.
Yeah.
Because that's how I learned. So that's how I wanted to do the course. Plus, I'm fly. I'm changing clothes, and I'm standing up, sitting down in the background, looking crazy. You know what I'm saying? It looked dope.
Right.
But I talk about how to understand SAM.gov, right? SAM.gov is where all the solicitations are, which is solicitations are the needs or requests from the federal government, whether it's a product or a service. So I go over that in great detail.
Okay.
I go over how to do your proposals.
Okay.
I go over how to effectively reach out to a subcontractor, put your price on top of theirs. I got to go over that. I got to go over how to effectively communicate, because remember, that was a learning curve for me.
Yeah.
And most people, corporate America, they like, oh, I can talk on the phone to anybody, until you can't. Because
Right.
remember, you're talking about stuff that you're not familiar with.
Absolutely.
And that's a learning curve.
Absolutely.
And most people think you got to have like a crazy vocabulary, or you got to be all corporate. No.
Right.
Bring back the human to human interaction and you'll be fine. So I go over that in great detail. And I go over what to do after you've been awarded a contract. Because
Okay.
that's important, right? How do you manage this contract
Right.
from afar?
Right.
We're in Arizona, but the contract is awarded in Florida.
Right.
What do you do?
Right.
What do you do if your subcontractor is some trash? What do you do? You feel me? So I go over all of that. And then I got platforms like my group Zoom calls on Wednesdays,
Okay.
and then my private Facebook group for continuing education.
Nice.
So I give them access to your boy for real.
You really do.
Yeah,
You
straight
really
up,
do.
yeah.
That's dope. But you be everywhere, so you living the life, right?
Come on, man. I'm telling you, I'm trying to be like you. I'm trying to be like her. I
That's
promise
right.
you that.
Listen. What are some of the craziest contracts you see?
Oh, wig making. Yeah, so
Wig making.
I had my student win an $84 million contract for wig making. Yeah. 84 mil. It's an IDIQ, which is called indefinite delivery, indefinite quantity, right? So she sold each wig for $750 a piece. The contract value came out to 84 million. Now, IDIQ means indefinite delivery, indefinite quantity. So they can say we need 100,000 of these wigs,
Yeah.
but each month they might only ask for 2. they might only ask for 3. They
Okay.
might, and then the next month they might ask for 2,000 because it's indefinite delivery, indefinite quantity. So they can ask for any quantity amount, but that's the craziest one.
So there's no, she doesn't have a time frame. Is it just an indefinite contract? with
It's
the
indefinite, yeah. It ain't gonna close until they want it to, so it's no ending date.
Wow.
And they start with a number, like I said, 100,000, but it could go past that or it could never reach that, right? But the value of it is, yeah. So each time she sell a wig, each time they say, hey, we need 5 wigs, that's $750. And she told me like they the weakest ones, synthetic or
It's not even like a
what is
good
the
one,
human
like
hair?
the human hair like this. It ain't even like this. What?
It's not like that.
Wow.
Nah, it's not like that. They ain't want all that.
That's insane.
That's the craziest one. So I helped her. I
Wow.
helped her get that. She felt inclined. I don't do this, but she felt inclined to give me a percentage on it. But
Yeah.
I don't ask for that from none of
Yeah.
my students.
Yeah.
They win contracts. They rock out and be great.
Wow.
But
I
that's
got
my
so
craziest
many
job.
questions, but I'm not even gonna go into all those questions when it
Yeah.
comes to this wig situation. But I just think that's
Yeah.
so dope.
Because think
That's
about
so
it. VA hospitals, they have the cancer department.
Yeah. That, yeah.
You know, cancer patients, they don't want to always walk around, you know, with no hair.
Right.
So the federal government will give them the wig to put on their head for free, obviously.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, yeah, that's pretty crazy.
For sure.
You have the federal podcast.
Yo,
Let's talk
so
about that.
I will, but
Yeah.
I'm with you, my sister, yo.
Yep.
We family.
Yep.
I'm not competition.
Stop it! Stop it! No, one of our core missions and values of Signature Required
Yeah.
is collaboration
All right.
over competition.
All right,
So
cool.
we're
You know what I'm saying?
never competing in no space. We are
Because you know I'm
always
going to
here.
kill it.
I-
I'm going
Absolutely
to punish the
going
podcast
up.
game, yo.
Listen, you're going to get your own show. Let's just
listen,
speak that into
let's
existence
speak it into
right
existence.
now.
Let's
because
do it, yo.
That's what's going to
I'm
happen.
going to
So,
punish it. Yeah, so I haven't released any episodes yet.
Okay.
I've done a few interviews.
Okay.
I got some hitters. You know what I'm
I
saying?
know already.
I got some hitters. But I'm going to just bring a different twist to it. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? Much like we're doing right now,
Yeah.
having a conversation. It's a flow. It's
Absolutely.
informative. It's entertaining.
Absolutely.
It ain't stuffy. It ain't boring because I ain't got that personality know-how.
Period.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So
Right.
I'm going to just bring a different element and not talk about government contracting.
Okay.
Right? I'm talking about all things leading up to a successful business.
Love it.
And it's called More Than the Federal Code. So
More
everybody-
than the federal code.
Yeah,
I like it.
So it's
I
gonna be
like
dope.
it.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
That's crazy. You asked me about that, yo. All right, that's a suck.
Listen. This look.
That's
What did I
fine.
tell you? What did I tell you?
Listen.
This
All
would
right.
be the best podcast that you done did.
For sure. Let's
You
go.
know what I'm
Let's
saying?
go.
I did my research. I did what I was supposed to do. You feel me? But
All
yeah,
right. Let's
all
do it.
good, all good. How can people find you? How can they connect with you if they're interested in your course?
Yeah.
Can you tell the people where they can?
Yeah. I am Jason White _. I am Jason White _ That's IG. And then my website is thefederalcode.com. And if you talk to me, I'm gonna talk back. You know what I mean?
And that is one thing I do know about you.
Yeah.
I done went through your Instagram and I done seen a barber hit you up
Yeah.
in Houston,
Yeah.
and then I see you in that chair. I'm like, that's so dope
Yeah,
because
yeah.
a lot of people talk to me and they're like, you know, how are you so accessible? And I'm like, human, what you talking
Yo,
about?
don't you hate that,
Yeah,
yo?
like,
It's not that serious. Like, I get it. Once you
I
get
do.
to a certain level of whatever you want to call it, influence or celebrity, right? You can't be accessible to everybody. So I got
Right.
that. But if I can be accessible for this moment in time because that person took the time to reach out to me,
Yes.
and if I got the time, come on now.
You know what I'm
I'ma reach
saying?
back
No,
out to
for
them.
real. And I
Yeah.
appreciate that from
Yeah,
you because you are a high level earner. You are a
Okay.
high level individual.
Okay, let me get
your
another
name-
one. Let
your
me get
name-
another flower.
Your name has power.
You know what I'm saying?
Your signature is required. So, I just really appreciate you being real because
Yeah.
I don't see that a lot in this space. And I try to change that narrative because
Yeah, I
I'm as
appreciate
real
you for
as
that,
they come.
yeah.
The fakest thing is my nails and my hair,
I appreciate
right?
you for that.
And so I appreciate individuals who just are authentic and
Yeah.
really walking in their purpose. Now, this is the Signature Required
Okay.
podcast, so
Okay.
we have to ask you, what is your purpose in life?
Yo, so I I really enjoy this question because I think I'm in my purpose,
Yeah.
right? So I think if I say my purpose is, that I'm putting a period on it. So I'm in my purpose currently, right now.
Right.
And that's all things teaching, loving people, loving my family, and just loving business overall and life. So I'm in my purpose right now. So it's not a period on it because it's ongoing. It's still being written. My story is still ongoing every minute, every second, every day. So this is my purpose, y'all.
That's so good.
Hey, yo, so can I say something real quick?
Absolutely.
The moment I met you when we was at the Boss Up conference,
Yeah.
it was that 2 years ago now?
2 years ago, yeah.
And you was like, yo, I said, anybody got any questions? You like, I got a question. I probably like, I'm gonna keep it real. I like, here we go, man. what she finna ask me? But the way you spoke and then how your question was really engaging, I was like, okay, all right, that was a good question. Then when I got off stage, we started to connect. I started to connect with people that you're close to. And I just appreciate you for being real and super, super authentic. You said you was gonna call me. You did. When I say I'm gonna call you back, I do. And we here today, yo. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate you as well.
Absolutely. Thank you.
She a real one. If you ain't
that?
tapping in with her, you ain't tapping in with me neither.
Gang. Well, I appreciate you being here on the Signature Require podcast. You're always welcome.
I appreciate it.
I look forward to doing some business with you.
Come on.
I know this is going to be very helpful and informative to a lot of different people. So I'm just so happy that you're here sharing all these gems and all that good stuff. This is our time here on the Signature Require podcast. You can get your merch at signaturerequire.com. Tap in for a personal development coach at BrittanyRenee.com. And we will catch you later.